The District Attorney's Office is located in Mecklenburg County's historic courthouse, which opened in 1928. So today we're going to give you a little history tour. This building is Mecklenburg County's oldest remaining courthouse. It's designated as a historic landmark, but it's actually the county's 5th courthouse. Before we go inside, let's check out some courthouse history. The county's first courthouse, which was a log building at Trade and Tryon Streets, was built in 1768, and it was there for more than 40 years. In 1810, the log courthouse was replaced by a brick courthouse at the same spot. Court was held there until 1845, when the county's 3rd courthouse was built near what is now West Trade and Church Streets. Construction of the 4th courthouse began in 1896 on South Tryon Street. Then, along came the 1920s. By then, Charlotte had become a textile hub and North Carolina's largest city. There was a building boom, and some Charlotteans began to push for a new courthouse that would reflect the city's progress and meet growing needs. After a few years of debate and some pretty heated public hearings, county commissioners voted in 1925 to build a new courthouse. Charlotte architect Louis H. Asbury was chosen for the project, and he was responsible for the neoclassical design. It was completed in 1928 and opened with lots of fanfare. There was a celebration with tours of the building, which the Charlotte Observer had dubbed the $1 Million Temple of Justice. The Observer reported that thousands of people attended the formal opening, and they were all anxious to visit the rooftop jail. Yeah, that jail, now abandoned, is still here. We'll talk more on that later. This building served as the main courthouse until the late 1970s, when another courthouse was built across the street. As courtrooms and court offices moved out, the building was gradually turned over to the growing District Attorney's Office. This has been our home ever since. Let's take a look around. The main corridors are lined with Tennessee pink marble, which is original to the building. The brass doors are also original, and the lobby has a grand staircase. We were pretty fancy in the 1920s. In 2012, a renovation project in the building was completed to create much-needed workspace for our staff. One of the goals of the renovation was to highlight the building's original character, and some of its original details were rediscovered. Our office has 2 large, high-ceiling rooms that were once Superior Court courtrooms. At the top left here, that space was actually a balcony for this courtroom. Well into the 1950s, this building did not have air conditioning, so they frequently kept the windows open. So if you had a witness on the stand in the summer, it wasn't unusual that you'd have to stop your questioning until noise outside had subsided. At some point over the years, the ceilings in these rooms were covered by drop ceilings. When the most recent renovation was done, crews pulled that away to discover that some of the original ornate plasterwork was still intact. They made castings of the ceiling and rebuilt some of the pieces. One of the most interesting historical aspects of this building is the old jail on the top 2 floors. The jail was in use here from the late 1920s until the 1960s, and it was segregated throughout that time. Conditions were poor for those who were detained here. Today, there are more than 20 jail cells abandoned upstairs. It's a dark piece of history that serves for us as a reminder to always recognize the humanity of every person who comes through our courts. The halls of this courthouse have a lot of history, with decades of Mecklenburg County trials as well as ties to the civil rights movement. And every day, this is where we at the District Attorney's Office are working to build a justice system that serves all people. That's how we hope history will remember us.